Hiya, so this turned up for me the other day, this Clearwater Baritone ukulele, single cutaway, plastic roundback body, about 3 inches deep, spruce top, rosewood fretboard, mahogany neck, mother of pearl inlay on the fretboard, abalone detailing around the sound hole, and black and white binding, double black and white binding around the body. And it's got some unusual features about the whole process that I thought I'd like to share, and so I'm doing this review. Normally these retail for around about £160. I got this for £80 because it was B-stock, minor cosmetic blemishes. The day it arrived, I was actually on my way to see my friend who's a luthier, so I brought it along with me and we unpacked it in his workshop and gave it the once-over. As for the cosmetic damage, well, you could hardly see anything. Maybe a couple of drops of glue up here on the headstock that were quickly polished out. There's another tiny drop of glue down here which you can feel but you can't really see. And so far as we can see, those are all the cosmetic blemishes. That said, I'm wondered if once they'd seen the glue, they gave up, the manufacturers gave up on the quality control, because there was a lot of issues with the fretboard. Uneven frets, the frets uneven in height, uneven in length, very roughly finished. Had to take a nail file to the edge of the frets to stop me lacerating my fingers as I run my hand up and down the fretboard. Some of the frets here were low, some were high, so there was sort of kinds of fret buzz between basically the 7th and the 12th frets here. If I bring it up to the camera here, you can see as well the frets are cut unevenly, the fret wire is cut unevenly. On some of them it goes all the way out almost to the edge of the neck. On some it barely makes it to the edge of the fretboard. Now, I'm sure this is not a knock against Really Useful Music Company. I'm sure if I'd complained about this, they'd have happily taken it back and sorted it out. I was fortunate that my friend did it for me there and then. But that said, if I paid, and it was £80 as a B stock. If I paid £160 for it, I think I'd have hoped to have found those issues sorted out before it arrived. All that said, the intonation is good. Action is nice and low. There you can see the action, yeah. Nice and light. And so far as I can see, good build quality to it. No other, apart from the glue drops, I couldn't see anything why it would have gone out as B stock. Now, what is unusual about it though is the length. I'll give you an idea. If I bring up my Lanakai baritone here, the one I normally use, and I put the two saddles together and bring them down together, you can see the Lanakai is about 2 frets lower, shorter I should say, than the Clearwater. In fact it is. This is 18 frets and that seems to be the normal size for baritones. This is 20 frets. It's got a scale length of from saddle to nut of just shy of 23 inches, whereas the Lanakai is just over 20 inches. And to give you an idea of just how big that is, if you compare it with my old Nevada Eco, really, jumbo guitar that I've had for the last 40 years, and again compare saddle for saddle, you can see this just about 1 fret difference between this big old jumbo and the Clearwater Baritone. So it's a big uke, nice and slim, body fits nice and comfortably to the body, but it won't fit in your, if you're going to buy one of these, you need to buy the gig bag as well, because it's not going to fit in your regular baritone gig bag, that's for sure. So how does it sound? Well, that's the next thing to talk about. When I got it, of course the strings are all slack, as you'd expect. It's travelling, you don't want any unnecessary tension on the body in those circumstances. I started tuning it up, thinking this is odd. Actually, I had to ring up Really Useful Music Company, and they confirmed for me that it's actually fitted with baritone GCEA strings, not DGBE strings as I was expecting. Aquila Nile Guts, but Aquila baritone GCEA strings. Now, tuned GCEA, as I say, but that's tuned an octave below what it would be on a soprano. To give you an idea of how low that is, this is DGBE on my Lanakai. Tell them to fall over. This is DGBE on my baritone. In other words, it's tuned a fifth below standard baritone tuning. That's 7 whole frets below baritone tuning. You know, that I wasn't expecting. It's that and the scale level, wasn't it? But yeah. So how does it sound? Well, resonant is the word we use here, I think. Notes. As I say, we've got the cutaway up here. Is it just ornamental, or can you play it? Well, you can sorta. Yeah. Right, well that's what it sounds like acoustically. Let's see what it sounds like with the through an amp. So plug in the amp, and I'm just running it through this little Marshall desktop speaker MS4. Just running it on batteries at the moment. So I've got the gain turned up to 8, the tone flat, volume up to about 6. Pick up positions slightly awkward for playing on your knee. Probably need to throw the strap on to make it a bit more comfortable. Of course, being passive, you can really feel those, hear the wound strings squeaking under your fingers. And that's it really. If you wonder what these are like, what they sound like, this is what they're like. Although it's long scale length, the thin body and the round back means it's quite comfortable to have on your lap. The pickup I'd have ideally moved an inch or so, or half an inch or so further round on the body. It's not so easy to sit with it on your lap with the pickup in. And if any of you are thinking of putting GCA strings on your baritone, don't. I mean, there must be a market for this, because obviously Aquila are responding to a demand. But if they're floppy on this, which is a 20 fret and long scale baritone, just how much more floppy would they be on this conventionally sized baritone? It's beyond me why anybody would want to do that. People say, oh, you don't have to learn new chord shapes when you pick up a baritone. You know all the chord shapes. You just got to know they map onto different letters, that's all. Well, this is less of a review now, more of a lecture on strings, yeah. Well, I hope that's been useful to you. I certainly found it an eye-opener. I will be changing the strings fairly soon, I should imagine. The G string in particular was quite notched. I actually had to reverse it to avoid some of the notes being completely dead and muffled. And when I do, I shall certainly be fitting it with DGBE strings. I mean, effectively what you've done here, you say a baritone is normally tuned to the top 4 strings of guitar, DGBE, 4 treble strings. What you're doing, putting GCA strings on, is effectively tuning it to the middle 4 strings. And I can't see strings this slack working. They barely work on this length of scale length, working at all on a shorter scale length baritone. But hey, your mileage may vary. See you soon.